when I was in high school, I got accused of smoking almost every single day that I went. Not by teachers most of the time, because frankly, the teachers didn't care because they already had their past success rate, but more so by students, you know. They thought I was that guy, I guess. My eyes were always bloodshot. I had a very monotone voice back in high school. I had no clue how to express myself in the slightest outside of anger, so a lot of people thought I was just basically cooked every single class of every single day. And I always thought this was like the funniest thing ever because, like, how do you explain to basically another student that you aren't in fact cooked? Instead, you went to your job after school, and then after you got off your job, you decided to play Rainbow Six Siege until 7 o'clock in the morning, and you have school at 8 o'clock, so you decide to take a 30-minute nap, which then bloodshotted your eyes. This just happened a lot. And when I say every single day, I mean almost every single day. And I wasn't even that good at Siege. I'm better at Siege now than I was then, but back then I was struggling to get out of silver when I played Siege. And there was just something like so magical about it, I guess. But this happens a lot more than what people think. People think this in real life now too. And I wish I could make it up, but genuinely, where I work, people will come in and look at me and be like, "Bro, how cooked are you?" Or they'll be like, "Are you like smoking right now?" You know, like people don't want to say the word out loud. It's always so funny because we live in a state where it's not legal, so people never want to say the word out loud. But they'll be like, you hitting the 420? It's so funny every single time. And you might be asking, well, why are we talking about this today? And it's because basically the police department in Maryland was requesting people to come in and smoke some marijuana for them so that way they could train the police officers to essentially identify what it actually looks like instead of having a bunch of mistaken cases like myself, but actually see what it looks like, see how bloodshot the eyes really get, see what it smells like, see what a person just looks like overall under the influence of it. And honestly, kind of W training. I think more police officers need training under this. I mean, how many bad videos have we seen of a police officer being like, "Have you been smoking tonight?" And the person's like, "No, I don't smoke." And they're like, "You want to do a drug test?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then the officer gets like defensive because they thought they caught the guy in the act, you know. And this happens so much throughout all of America. Don't know about the rest of the world, but America in particular, our cops, in my opinion, do need more training. There is some like goaded ones. I've met some goaded ones. One of my best friend's dad's is like a goaded cop. He just likes to follow the law. And he plays like Clash of Clans, and he's just like a chill guy, He's like cool. But there is a lot more that are bad than good. And I think it's so funny because basically in this article that I'm reading, if I can pull it up here, um, the police got a overwhelming amount of volunteers to basically come in because you can't arrest them, right? Because you are offering it to them, and you can't prove that they do it outside of outside of this volunteering. I mean, obviously there's signs if they're not like coughing up a storm and everything. But I just imagine that a bunch of stoners basically saw this just on a random, Tuesday afternoon and went, "You're telling me I get to smoke for free? Yeah, sign me up." And they just got a crazy amount. I don't know. It's just something funny I thought would we would be able to talk about a little bit. And I think it's always just funny to talk about stories like this. Now, I personally, I do not participate. Uh, I have tried some things like this in the past, but it's not for me personally. I There's something behind it for me personally that it makes my heart beat. Like my heart just like the entire time. So don't really mess with it. I would say definitely if you're young or something like this, dude, I wouldn't mess with it either. I mean, for my personal advice, I wouldn't mess with anything like this until you reach 21 plus, right? Once you reach 21, 25 plus, all right, cool. Your brain is fairly developed, but there are so many people who start doing it and like start smoking, start drinking underage to the point where like they genuinely do fry their brain cells. And that's just like facts. Like there's people who I was legit actually talking to people about this last night who will come into the store that where I work and will be like full blown shaking because they haven't been able to drink that day, or they haven't been able to like smoke a cig that day, or something like that. And I'm gonna try like never to really promote that stuff on this channel personally. Just like I said, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't hate anybody that does it. I just think there is a definitely a level, and even people that do smoke or do drink or whatever will say that there is a level where you can basically never go back, essentially. And once you hit that level, you will fiend for it like nonstop. Like you'll get the shakes, you'll like itch with it. A young kid, or I say a young kid, but a guy last night, he's like 21, came in, and we were talking about this, and one of the things he was talking about was like he basically he does like Zens instead, and he's like, yeah, I have to go through like an entire thing every single day, or like it just doesn't feel right. Like he like that's how bad it is. Like he's like an itch almost that I have to get these, and yeah, just never allow yourself to get to that point, and definitely make sure you're of age to do these things because it helps with your overall brain development and everything like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful night, everybody. Peace.